And Radio Style. That's Fighter. Christina Aguilera. Hope you guys are having a good day. It's been great. All sorts of crazy stuff going on in the world, but what the heck? I am enjoying myself. Had a good day at work. That's all I got to say. Hey, so I wanted to do something kind of interesting. I saw this really, really cool quote, and it got me thinking. And I kind of agree with it to a large degree. I think there's a small Neville Goddard place where I'm going to touch upon. But I think for the big picture, this is just kind of a good practice. And I mean this in any sort of manifestation, but certainly in any life-changing moments too. But like if you're trying to manifest a relationship, maybe you've got history. Maybe, actually, if you've got history, without a doubt, this is going to be a very significant thing. But not just that, if we've made mistakes, period, in life, when we've screwed up and feel bad and want to change it, and it's like, how can I fix this? So the quote, which I thought was just so freaking cool, staying stuck in your past is stealing from your future. I'm stealing this quote from someone right now, and unfortunately, I'll try to put it in the show notes because I've closed I closed the picture. But staying stuck in your past is stealing from your future. And what that means to me is, obviously, we've talked before, it's a focus-based universe, right? Everything we focus our attention on is what we're putting power towards creating, no matter what it is. If you're focusing on putting butter on toast, jam on toast, whatever, well, then that's what's probably going to happen, right? But fact is, you're focusing on it. Some call that meditating, too, for that matter. But whatever you put your attention on is what you are creating, what you are manifesting, what you are in process of doing, whatever the case is. It's a focus-based universe. What you focus on, you get more back of, more in return. So if you're focused on something in the past, some issue where maybe you made a mistake, maybe you screwed up, maybe you hurt someone's feelings, maybe you cheated on them, maybe you said something you shouldn't, maybe you were a place you shouldn't have been, maybe you got caught, maybe you were this close to doing something horribly bad and got caught doing something minor maybe. When we look back at it and we go, man, the things I've gone through because of that mistake, I wish I could undo it. I wish I could stop it. I wish I could make it different. But here's the problem with that whole train of thought that I was just sort of practicing right there for a second. That's what you're focused on. You're focusing on a yesterday that was bad and a yesterday that feels bad. So no matter what, the concept of that bad feeling is certainly being projected outward, because any difference that could ever happen from where you're at right now, because if there's something that needs to change from where you're at right now or something additional, that's something that's going to be coming from tomorrow, not from the past. Nothing comes from the past other than lessons, other than knowledge, other than wisdom. When you live through something and now you understand it. And that is the joy of making mistakes. If you have not made mistakes in life, if you have not made mistakes in love, for that matter, you have not loved at all. Making mistakes is a part of the process, a part of learning, a part of forgiving, a part of growing with another individual. Making mistakes is how we learn. You learn not to touch that hot iron. Stay, like you don't do that again. Someone's told you 5 times. We tell our kids, don't, it's hot, don't, it's hot, don't, it's hot. Eventually, stay. Yeah, well, I told you. And they don't do it again, do they? We learn. Lessons are powerful. There are a lot of lessons that people tell us we should be careful with, that we know intrinsically before we make the mistake we shouldn't do it, but we do anyway. Look back on the things you did wrong that we're ashamed of or that we're bummed of. Look at where you were at with it. If it's one of those, wrong place, wrong time, yeah, it is. I have nothing for that. There is. I do, and I could deal with those separately and contact me separately, but not worth spending the time. But for the most of us, we were in a place where we were maybe being defiant. Maybe we were we were trying to get away with something that we probably knew we couldn't. Being childish. It's a very childish kind of behavior, no matter what age you are. No matter, you could be 70 all the way down to 12. Doing something like that, you're being childish. And I'm guilty of, I've done it with Anya, where I say something stupid. She said doo-doo one time, and I started laughing like a little 5-year-old, because I thought it was funny. You know when you say you do something, but you say doo-doo when you do that. Anywho, so spending time in the past is not doing anything but creating more of that feeling, that crud, that ugh, and all that energy, pushing that forward as well. You're creating more of that in your tomorrow and your right now. Look forward. Tomorrow's where everything's coming. If there's something different you'd like to experience, if there's a new reality that you'd like to be a part of, and if that's one where this mistake you made is forgiven, right? If that's needed, that's great. But look forward to a world where that is your reality. And the only caveat I wanted to bring up is I know there's the revision thing with Goddard, and I'm not trying to poo-poo. If you want to do that and feel like you must, go for it. As a technique, it works. It's sound. I don't question that. As a practice, I don't necessarily think it's a great idea, and I wouldn't generally recommend it, because I think looking forward to what you would like to experience is far more worth your time than looking back and trying to massage something so it's not what it once was. Yes, you can do that if you like. But if you look forward, you can live in a reality where whatever reason we're trying to revise exists without doing this thinking backwards. Maybe think of a world where the revision already exists. I don't know. I listened to it a little bit. I didn't totally get into the revision thing. I've even read this section in the book, but with Goddard, you got to read it like 12 times. You know that. So if I'm getting it wrong, someone will correct me. That's fine. I'm okay with that. Again, I'm not poo-pooing the Goddard side of it, just to reiterate. I think it's cool. If you want to do that, that's great. But I think it's truly more useful in changing our lives and changing our realities and changing our outcomes by looking ahead and trying to imagine what it is that we wish to experience. The reality we wish to be in is doing more for our higher selves, for our manifestation, for our movement of this. I swear I see the concept of manifesting as a giant, really heavy wheel. The Price is Right wheel, but you got these teeny people that can spin it, so it doesn't work for me as far as the mass, but like a giant steel version of the Price is Right wheel. And once it gets going, it's hard to slow down. It's hard as hell to get going, and it's hard as hell to stop. But once you get it going, you start cranking along. Things start happening. You start having thoughts, and all of a sudden stuff's popping up. I've created a couple scenarios in my life not too long ago because I had a couple inklings, spent time thinking about them, and bam, I've got something that sucks. And it was just because I knew when I was doing it. It's like, focus elsewhere. Oh, and then I'm back on that. It's like, argh. So when you get that wheel cruising, it pops results. So that's the whole, in my impression, man, and it's my experience too. Like I said, when it gets pumping, all certain thoughts and stuff is happening within an hour or two. Like it's a trip. Most people that get into this and start getting it going trip out when they're just in that one of those modes where it's just you're in the groove, you're in the whatever, you're in the vortex, as what Hicks would say, right? But you're kind of just. You're in the zone. Is another phrase that people have used for this experience. But you're in that vibe. You're being yourself. You're being authentic. And it's just a freaking amazing how things happen. So look forward is my point. The quote again, I thought it was cool. Staying stuck in your past is stealing from your future. The time we're not thinking forward, the time that we're thinking backwards, we're not thinking forward. That's where it steals from you. We only have so much time that we can really, truly, consciously affect our realities. Otherwise, we're usually caught up in work, right? Kids, husband, wife, what do you got to do? Soccer practice, whatever. Or football for the rest of the world. But again, look forward, Try to do it from that angle. If you're looking in the back, even if you've made mistakes, even if you're just fresh out of a breakup, looking in the past is doing nothing but bringing more of that forward. Realize that you're in a transition right now, no matter what. And if you're going to get back together with your ex, it's going to happen tomorrow, not yesterday. Look forward. Look to the world where everything's finally good, where you're loving yourself, where you're happy, and then contacting each other and talking, and it's just good. Imagine that. Look forward. Same for getting a job, for getting money, all these things. Same concept. Look forward. It's powerful. Hope this helps. Dan RadioStyle, going out with Rascal Flatts. Song is called I'm Moving On.
No guarantees, but I'm not